Shalom, welcome to Word Pictures in Ancient Hebrew. As we continue through our series of looking at Old Testament words and transposing them from modern English and modern Hebrew into Ancient Hebrew, we continue using the Ancient Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew alphabet pictorial forms to do that. Of course, in that particular era, the alphabet was done by using letters that were pictures of animals or things or ideas, and by simply taking those letters that represented a thought or represented something specific and stringing them together, you obviously made a word that had a word picture. It created a word picture. And so today we're going to look at a very interesting word as we begin to look at the word righteous. You might remember in the book of Genesis where Abraham came near to God and he was negotiating for Sodom and Gomorrah with the angel of the Lord. And he said, "Would you destroy the righteous with the wicked?" Have you ever wondered to yourself, how did Abram know the difference between the righteous people and the wicked people? How exactly could that be defined? Have you ever thought about that in your own life? What is it that makes you a righteous person or an unrighteous person? How do we measure that? Well, ideas in Western thought processes are abstract. However, in Eastern thought processes, ideas are more concrete. There's something that you can actually apply your five senses to. And that's the way it is with the word righteous. As we begin to discover what the word picture will tell us about this particular word. The word righteous is zadik in the Hebrew, and it's spelled with three letters. Once again, you read Hebrew right to left, as you'll remember. And so we'll start with the zadeh. The zadeh would have been the picture of a fish hook. The dalet was the picture of a door, the door on a tent, obviously a skin or something that would hang and create a doorway into the tent. And the kuf would have been the idea of the back of a head, something that's behind you. And so those carry very distinctive meanings. The zadeh, to catch, to desire, or to track something. The dalet would stand for the door, or it would also stand for entering or going into a pathway or starting on a journey of life of some type. The kuf, the back of the head, would obviously carry with it the meaning of being behind, being the last, being something that follows. It also carried the idea of cyclic things such as days and years, sunset, sunrise, those types of things. So as we begin to look a little deeper at this word righteous, we find that using those pictorial forms of the alphabet, the word righteous simply means hooked so that your life follows. Hooked so that you follow through the door or the pathway of life. Well, in the natural, that obviously could give us a word picture that maybe wouldn't be too enticing, but when we think about it from a spiritual perspective, what we need to understand is that if we are hooked on kingdom perspectives, if we are hooked on God's purposes and on God's desires and on God's ways so that we follow Him, that is what makes us righteous. You see, it's not some kind of a uniform that we wear. It's not some kind of a title that we carry. It's not even some kind of a spiritual maturity that we have attained to. It's whether or not we are hooked so that we will follow the path that God has set for us in life. What an incredible word. In the book of Psalms, the psalmist said this, "For you, O Lord, will bless the righteous, those that are hooked so that they follow. With favor you will surround him as with a shield." Well, that makes all kinds of sense when we understand the pictorial meaning of that word righteous. Job said this, he said, "Yet the righteous will hold to his way." The righteous will hold to that path that he's hooked to follow. "And he who has clean hands will be stronger and stronger." The idea of righteousness is that we are so emotionally and spiritually hooked to the purposes and to the values and to the eternal purposes of God that we follow Him at any and every cost, no matter where He takes us. That is what makes us righteous in His eyes. I love the Proverbs. It says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run to it and are safe." Not only are we hooked so that we follow, but we know that the character of God, and by the way, is what the name of God stands for, is His character, those ways that He has shown Himself to man. As we understand those things, and as we grasp hold of those things, we don't just follow, but we run to it, because we know that that's the best place to be when we have discovered the heart of God. Righteous, zadik, hooked so that your life follows. Remember, it's an incredible Hebrew word that you won't want to forget and that you will want to begin to use in your life in a new and exciting way now that you have seen the word picture in Ancient Hebrew. Until the next time we get together to discover another word, Shalom.